Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are tackling a really massive topic. We're getting into some pretty advanced stuff on metaphysics, looking at excerpts from Frederick Dodson's book, Parallel Universes of Self. And our mission today is really zeroed in on the core of his framework, which he calls reality creation, or RC. We're focusing specifically on chapter 4, because it introduces this idea of a philosophical architecture that defines you. This isn't just, positive thinking. It's about the fundamental structure, the inner architecture of your experience.
Right. And what's immediately striking about this material is how it completely repositions the human being.
How so?
The sources, they address you not as some small reactive product of your circumstances, but as a multidimensional, infinite, and eternal source of reality.
That's a big shift.
It's a huge shift. The whole goal of understanding this architecture is to, shatter those rigid belief systems and return radical responsibility for your life entirely to you.
Okay, so to do that, you have to grasp this central paradox the book talks about.
Exactly. We all commonly assume the outside world is objective, right? It's separate from our consciousness.
Sure, that's just common sense.
Well, the RC philosophy flips that completely. It states that the body, your environment, the entire world is fundamentally within you. Consciousness is the source of all physical reality.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
That's a huge claim, and honestly, that's often where people check out. So you're saying when I stub my toe or when the market dips, that wasn't out there. It was somehow within my consciousness.
It means we have to reevaluate the direction of the flow. That's what the source argues. If consciousness is the source, then our whole traditional model of cause and effect just breaks down.
We think of life as reacting to things.
We've been trained to, yes. But Dodson posits that your life is actually a constant projection. It's a reflection of your inner state.
So let's unpack that, this reversal of cause and effect. In our normal, 3D reality, we follow a pretty linear path.
Right.
We take an action that creates an emotion, which builds a belief, and then that eventually forms an identity. Like, I work hard, that's the action.
You feel successful, the emotion.
Right. Then I start to believe I'm a capable person, and eventually I am a capable person. That's my identity.
Exactly. That 3D model always relies on external proof first. But the inner architecture model, what the source calls 4D reality, it inverts that whole structure.
The flow is reversed.
Completely reversed. To be right, Todd, or
Yeah, do have.
The identity, the B state, is where it all has to start. Once you establish that identity, the necessary beliefs, the feelings, the actions, they just flow automatically from it.
So you don't struggle to do what a successful person does.
Because you already are a successful person. The actions become effortless. They're just a component of who you are.
And that reversal is why this idea of inner architecture is so important. If we're the architects, we need to know the components, the actual elements of that B state. So what are they? What are the 5 structural elements?
The source uses a really perfect analogy for this. Building a house. And we can look at these 5 levels, starting from the highest, least dense level, all the way down to physical action. Okay. So at the very top, the foundation really is level 5. Identity. This is the architect of the house.
The architect.
It's the highest level defined by that pure I am statement. It's the self-definition you are operating from. And because it's the source code, a single shift at this level, level 5, causes all the other levels to shift automatically. You don't have to force them.
So if I change my core definition from, say, I am struggling to I am abundant, the thoughts and actions should just fall into line.
They have to. They are just expressions of level 5. So right under identity, you have what is maybe the most crucial layer for actually applying this stuff.
Which is?
Level 4. Reality models or core beliefs. This is the blueprint of the house.
And this is where it gets a little tricky. What's the real difference between a level 4 core belief and just a regular, level 3 thought?
That's a great question. Level 4 convictions are so deeply embedded, they're basically invisible to the person holding them. They're taken for granted as just how the world works.
Like what? Give me an example.
A level 4 core belief might be something like, life requires constant struggle, or I am fundamentally unworthy of love.
Oh, wow. Yeah, deep stuff.
Very. And these core beliefs act as a template that then manifests everywhere. Your job, your health, your relationships. It's the blueprint.
And level 3.
Level 3. Beliefs thoughts are the specific instructions for the house. These are thoughts you are at least semi-aware of. Things like, I should probably charge less for this, or my boss is so annoying.
I see. So they're just symptoms of the bigger blueprint.
Exactly. They just accumulate around that hidden level 4 blueprint. And the source says if you change one single core belief at level 4, it can instantly disintegrate dozens of these level 3 thoughts and behaviors. That's the power we're talking about.
That distinction is so key. You could spend your whole life managing 1,000 little level 3 thoughts,
Sure.
but if the level 4 blueprint is flawed, you're just fixing leaks forever.
You're just fixing leaks forever. That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Then we move down to level 2. Emotions, feelings. These are the builders of the house.
The energy.
The energy driver. Everything we do is ultimately driven by what we feel, or what we desperately want to avoid feeling.
And the source has a really powerful insight here, right? If your feelings, the builders are doing a bad job. If you're constantly stressed or unhappy, you shouldn't try to just force a feeling change.
Correct. Trying to force yourself to be happy is like yelling at the builders to follow a bad blueprint. It's totally ineffective. You need to go back up to level 4 and change the structural plan.
Or even level 5, hire a new architect.
Hire a new architect.
Yeah.
And then finally we get to level 1, behavior and action. This is just building the house. It's the physical manifestation, the visible outcome of the 4 invisible levels above it.
It's the effect.
It's always the effect, never the cause.
The power of level 5, the architect, the identity, is just astounding. And the source backed this up with some pretty extreme examples. It cites research into what used to be called multiple personality disorder.
Yes, MPD. The physiological changes observed are just staggering. When a person shifts identity or switches personalities, witnesses have reported, rapid, measurable weight changes for just a matter of days.
Weight changes.
Weight loss, weight gain.
Yeah.
And in one famous case, a person's facial scars completely disappeared when they inhabited a new identity.
And then they came back.
They returned when they shifted back.
That sounds like science fiction. The idea that physical reality is that volatile, that it's tied so directly to a definition of self, it just proves that the outside world isn't separate.
It absolutely solidifies the case for identity as the cause. So now that we get the structure, we have to look at the engine. What's the mechanism that connects these inner levels to the outer physical world?
An engine, right.
And that engine is the single most powerful principle in the whole system.
Yeah.
Law of correspondence. It's also called resonance or attraction. And it's simple but absolute. You can only experience what you are.
So if you want something, you can't chase it. You have to become the internal state that corresponds to it. And the TV analogy from the book is perfect for this.
It's a great analogy. Think of yourself as a television. The TV doesn't create the show it's playing, right? Whether it's a comedy or a drama.
No, it just receives it.
That program already exists. It's being broadcast through the airwaves all at once. The TV just tunes in.
So you don't have to create the reality.
You just tune in. You synchronize your vibration, your inner state, to the parallel reality that already exists. And the key takeaway here is this. You will not necessarily get what you want. You will get what you are.
And your personal reception channel is basically your level 5 identity, what you believe at level 4 and what you feel at level 2. So if my identity secretly feels I'm not deserving, I'm broadcasting unworthiness, and that's the channel I get.
That's the program that shows up on your screen no matter how hard you physically work to change it. And the sources really emphasize that the most effective identity isn't one you repeat like a mantra like, I want success.
It has to be something else.
It's one that is completely taken for granted. It's as easy as breathing. The ultimate state is where being successful feels as effortless and unquestioned as saying, I am breathing. That ease. That's the vibration of being.
This all leads us straight to the practical application. Once we accept that our consciousness creates everything, the good and the bad, how do we deal with the unwelcome stuff? This is that confusing duality.
It is really confusing because consciousness creates everything you want and everything you don't want. It happens because the system, infinity, is totally inclusive.
So when you resist something,
when you put energy into resisting something like fighting debt or fighting the idea of being poor, you actually include it. You cement it into your reality. Resistance includes.
So if I spend all my energy fighting against debt, I'm actually focusing on lack, and I'm just making it more solid in my world. So how do we break that cycle? How do we stop being a reaction robot?
It happens when you recognize the difference between reaction and creation. Most of us live in reactive mode. Something happens, that's the cause, and then I react, that's the effect.
Right.
But the deeper insight is that the thing you are reacting to is actually what you yourself are creating. Your habitual reaction to an event is what guarantees that event will keep happening.
So unwanted events aren't punishments. They're opportunities.
They're perfect opportunities for a reality shift. As long as you react to certain things in the same way, say, getting instantly furious when someone cuts you off in traffic, you just reinforce the identity that attracts that chaos.
But if you change the reaction,
You break the loop. The source suggests choosing to react in a pleasant or maybe even a humorous way to something that usually makes you furious.
that's hard to do.
It's very hard at first, but that unexpected response breaks the architecture for that event. You stop creating the reality where you're constantly being targeted by frustrating people
Yeah.
because you are no longer vibrating with the identity of someone who must react in anger.
Wow. Okay, this has been a really critical deep dive. We've explored these 5 levels of our inner architecture, and we're realizing that creation doesn't start with action. It starts with identity, which must be taken for granted.
And the goal is to shift your whole operating system from being a reaction robot to being a conscious architect
Yeah.
defined by choice.
Which brings us right back to that core principle. You can have anything you want as long as you already have it. You have to possess it internally first. The physical manifestation, that's not your job. That's infinity's job, and it's way more effective.
So to leave you with one final provocative thought that really builds on all this, consider this.
Yeah.
If your current focus is the source of reality, how might your perception of your own personal history change? If you accept the idea that your past is not fixed and finished, but is being created right now by your current focus,
The source literally states you can change the past, not just how you feel about it, but the actual version of history you believe is the past. So think about that. What version of your own history are you focusing into existence right now?
we invite you to explore what this deep dive has revealed about the ultimate source of your reality,
Mm.
yourself. Until next time.